song you can't turn off. Like a merry-go-round, my head is spinning. I see you rocking about. I'm sure as hell not. 'Cause in my mind we're smiling on the dance floor, late nights getting thinking like we're on our own ride. Got the words though, 'cause we're so young. We're in your car singing crazy to the radio. I remember it's like time's been frozen still. Oh, had no words though, we were so young. Now you're long gone.
You are watching JJ's Lifted Horizons.
Has a reason, baby, let it come to you. Every soul
Same old face, but new content.
outside of status quo. If you stop believing we're meant to,
You're either going to cry, laugh, smile, or learn.
passion's gone, we are doing it wrong. Baby, you and I,
That's because JJ's lifting the world.
oh, that heartbeat. We could stay or we could leave. There is nothing in me.
One video at a time. I'm G Money, and I support this channel.
It's JJ, well, not even JJ Drones anymore. It's JJ's Lifted Horizons. It's been a while since, well, I'm still trying to get adjusted to the new channel name. Thank you, everybody, for coming in tonight. We've got Gary from Jailbait and Tackle Outdoors. We've got Jenny, Steve, and Dave from Stormy Sky Reel Productions. We've got TJ is on the screen, and Brian's up on screen as well. And we've also got my dad and my stepmom. And Ted from Off the Hook Outdoors is in here as well. So thank you, everybody, for being here today. And if you would like to help support the program and you are shopping on Amazon, you've got some Amazon links that you'd like to try out, just send me your Amazon link, Jason at jjdrones360.com, and I will send you back another link, and then that will help financially support the program. And all the proceeds from now through Thanksgiving is actually going to be going to the Lee and Betty Johnson Memorial Charity. So you're not only helping me, but you're helping the charity as well. And the Spreadshirt shop is now open, and you've got one more week to get the old JJ Drones merchandise if you are still interested in that. Otherwise, the new merchandise is up there, from the new blinker fluid logo, the new Welcome to the Trainwreck logo, and the new JJ's Lifted Horizon logo. So you can go on there and find any of the merchandise that you want. We've got everything from coffee mugs to stickers to hoodies to varsity jackets. So go check it out over there at jjsliftedhorizons.myspreadshop.com. And if you have a video that you'd like to submit to Blinker Flu of the Week, email Dan, droningveteran@gmail.com, and he will be happy to definitely put your video out there for Blinker Flu of the Week. And if you are looking to support the Lee and Betty Johnson Memorial Charity directly, there it is. It's paypal.com/us/fundraiser/charity 514-1591. And I will actually fix that by putting that into the chat, because that is too much to actually try and remember. So thank you, everybody, for being here today. It's going to be a fun show. And we're actually home in the home studio today. And so that's why I feel a little bit out of place, other than the fact that everything is a train wreck here. But I would like to say thank you to Paul, the producer today. Mr. PP, appreciate it.
Oh, get Producer Paul.
Producer Paul. That's right. He is the PP. He is the number one in the PP business. And Brian from Cheesehead Media, thank you very much for coming in today. And also TJ Giggles FPV, we got TJ. And it was not that long ago that, yes, Dad, the window is holding even in this rain. We've been getting some rain today. And it's actually really nice out because it's not humid. And Paul, you can bring down the music. Thank you. And it was actually really, really nice out today because it was raining and the temperatures weren't too hot and it wasn't too humid outside. So it was actually really nice. And I do want to I just want to do a quick shout out to my niece who graduated high school this year. And I went to her graduation party today. So Kenzie, if you're watching today or if you're watching the replay, congratulations on graduating high school. It is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. You know, once you graduate high school, you're not really sure what you're going to do with your life. And I think that she's going to go out there and do some exploring and see what interests her. And so, you know, I wish her the best of luck and huge congratulations to her because graduating high school is an achievement in and of itself. So, like Paul.
Yeah, please let me know how that is because, yeah, I didn't make it that far. I started getting paid before I graduated, so started.
That's true. Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
So, anybody else have anything interesting happen this week? Brian, TJ?
Let's see. No, except with the fact that I had a nail in my tire. That was pretty much it, I guess.
Took my first multi-stop road trip in Scarlet since I picked it up.
Oh, how did that go?
Interesting. Had to stop, used a DC fast charger for the first time, twice, and definitely learned a little bit. So, but I liked it. It was good.
Awesome.
For 6.5 hours of driving, it's a very comfortable vehicle.
Very, very nice. Drew, thank you so much for coming in. Dave, thank you for coming in as well. And Ted is watching and cooking dinner and listening. So appreciate you doing that. But talking about appreciation, we do want to say a huge thank you to our unofficial sponsor of the program, Johnson Juice.
I've got the cocktail sauce and the Johnson Juice mixed in. So what I'm going to do is just swallow drizzle, swallow swizzle. A little bit of that on there. Now we're going to talk about these tuna chunks. Tuna kebab. Here's one small piece. Tuna kebabs with Johnson Juice and cocktail sauce. It's not bad. It's really good. Talk about good improv. Thank you, Johnson Juice. Appreciate you. Love you guys. Great organization.
Nothing tastes better, all thanks to you.
And thank you, Johnson Juice, for supporting the program unofficially. And we also have our Blinker Fluid of the Week segment today. And our Blinker Fluid flavor of this week is going to be Black Cherry Mike's Hard Lemonade. So enjoy that because I'm going to because I'm on vacation. It's Blinker Fluid of the Week.
Welcome to the Low Search Series.
Get your motors ready.
Just don't ask anyone. That way you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, you don't want to be disappointed.
Always keep
And
your head
remember,
on the
towards the
straight.
end of the videos, we're going to be voting.
We have those crazy drivers. Every now and then we even have crashes. So buckle up. Blink of fluid of the week.
And now the moment you've always all been waiting for. Here's number one. This is Dan driving down the highway, and Paul is probably very familiar with this highway. Oh yeah. There we go. Gotta have the air horn.
Right.
Yep, you're gonna have to.
Oh God! Oh my God!
Oh, wait a second.
Stop in the middle of the road. Well, you have to stop to figure out if he wants to change lanes and cut the other person off. That's
Wait a second.
Isn't this the one from last week?
That's last week's.
Hey, I thought I was.
Yep.
predicting things. I was like,
Yep.
yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
thought
even
that
see
looked
that one.
way too familiar. All right, hang on. Welcome to the train wreck.
So anyhow, Paul, I don't think you know. I have I bought a 2025
All right, so now-
Blazer EV.
Oh, really?
Let's go
Whoa,
here,
hardcore.
Mhm.
and then there. There we go. Now we're on the right one.
Are you sure?
The the theme song was so good that you get to listen to it again.
Blink of fluid of the week.
All right, now we're going to try this again with the right week. Thank you for calling that out, Stormy. And here's number one. That tow truck really needed to get to his spot. So, oh, and then that car. There we go. You get 2 air horns for that one.
Rear end.
Oh, stop. Hold on, Jason. Stop that real quick.
Okay.
Right. So just Peter, is this red car rear-ending the gray one in front of it?
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what happened.
Because the way Jason was narrating it, I thought it was the people making the right turn on red.
Yeah, so did I. But
No,
let's
what
see here.
happened-
Yeah, replay that because I'm pretty sure that red car rear ends the gray one in front of it.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Oh, absolutely it does. Good catch, Ryan. Here's number 2. Whoa!
Whoa!
Let's watch that again.
Whoa!
There's a lesson for you. Don't try and go through a yellow light at a very high rate of speed, because you never know if a
Exactly.
truck's trying to turn.
Wait,
What's
My
that?
question is-
What's that, Paul?
this is him driving, right?
Yes.
Well, his light was yellow. I get the whole left turn on yellow thing, but his light was really solid yellow, like it was going to turn red, and he probably should have stayed.
Hang on.
Just saying.
Now, I get what you're saying, but
Wait, where is he? Go back a little more. Where is he? Exactly. Like, where's the line at when he there? Now do that right there. Oh wait, that went too far forward.
yeah. Okay, so it's green here.
No. Is it green?
It's green. Well, yeah, it's green with the yellow light, or the arrow is flashing yellow.
Yep.
So he started to pull into the intersection. So yeah, I mean, it could have you, Paul. Watching that, you could argue that either way.
So, no, go on.
Controversy on JJ's Lifted Horizons right now. Here's number 3 from David from Droning Adventures, David Crackwell. That's definitely not the way to pass. And number 4. So that truck just turned right. I don't really have a problem with that one. But that's just me. I'm not going to sway the audience as has been previously discussed. Don't drive in Utah. There's the answer. Don't drive in Utah. Thank you, Dan, for putting that together. I appreciate Droning Veteran for all of the work that he does on Blinker Fluid every week. And thank you, everybody that recognized that that was last week's. And I'm going to right now put the poll up into the chat so you can start voting for 1, 2, 3, or 4. And there's a little bit of controversy there with video number 2. So, you know, we're going to have to see what everybody says. Mom is for number 1. And then we'll see what everybody else votes for while we go through the program. Now, Paul, you emailed me what was it, 2-3 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
About the trucking shortage. And you wanted to come on and talk about it because the trucking shortage isn't really a real thing.
It's complicated. But hold on. We can't pass this up. Hold on. This is too important here because one of our own, I think, did something that requires like a conversation about. Because so here in Texas too, here's another thing in Texas. They have those yellow blinky lights all the time, unlike some other states that don't have that whole concept. Right now, I've driven here in Texas and with a big truck. Most of the time I wait for those lights to turn green, not yellow flashy thingies. Just because
but if it's yellow and flashing, you can make that turn.
I know, but you're right. But you see the problem? That video is the exact problem why you shouldn't do that anyway. And you know me, I'm all about not doing everything right. I've never done anything.
Here's the contradiction to that, Paul, is that like at least here in southeastern Wisconsin, you could have 6 cars lined up for a left turn, and it'll just go to blinky yellow. They will not give you a solid green anymore. So I don't know if Utah does that. It just goes to blinky yellow. I mean, I was waiting to get into the left turn lane because there were cars in front of me. And you would think that you would actually get the green arrow. No, it just goes to blinky yellow. So and I'm seeing that more and more, in which the blinky yellow is the only option.
Really? See, normally it's either you get the green light first, or and then you get a yellow light later, or what I've noticed works the best is you can have because you know, from the other state that I don't like to name that I used to be from, they never had that stuff. Everything was lighted, everything was right, left, boom, unless you're out in some rural area, but almost always it was green, red, whatever.
I'm more and more I'm seeing the green just not, for some reason, not being turned on.
Yeah, see, that's crazy because
I agree.
Trucks, they should.
Stormy Sky Road Productions absolutely agrees with that. And with video number 4, Karl Marx put his 2 cents in. more than likely you can't turn right from the outer lane like that.
Mhm.
So that's
Oh, that one?
also, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
because
one around the truck.
that was my problem. Is that it wasn't the fact that he made the right turn; is that he made the right turn from the outer lane to the inner lane. You know, if
Right.
he stayed, it went outer to outer, it would have been
Yep.
okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, those yellow blinky lights are nice and all, but if you don't give a green light for a truck at least, then what I was gonna say is I actually like the green light coming after the yellow. So that way everybody who's in the road eventually gets a green light, and then you get to have a safety green light thing happening.
Yeah,
Dad,
I'm seeing that too, in which the left turn is at instead of being first is afterwards. That's nice. I'll agree.
Dad, that is true, but Dan is driving in Utah, not California. So
Well, no. Oh, yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. No, everything is definitely far left. Oh, wait, far left? I don't know. Is there a far left or is it just left? I don't know.
You know, it's
just left.
California. It's both.
It's on fire right now again, but anyway.
It's either left or far left.
It's on fire. It's not the
Those
tree.
are your two options in California, left or far left.
Yeah. That's why I had to leave. That's why I left. Because I couldn't go left anymore. I had to go right.
So back on topic, Paul. We were actually talking about the truck driver shortage and the fact that this is not a real thing. And you actually did a search on ChatGPT. And when you did that, do you want to share your findings?
Yeah. So it kind of comes down to the word complicated. Because as much as you would love to say, "Oh, it's so short that they're going to pay you up the butt, and then the rates are going to be super high," right? The problem really becomes is like you can't have every truck in the right spot every moment, every time, right? So you have this huge, you have the map, and the map is ginormous, but you have so many trucks going one direction to one side or the other. And it actually, those of you who haven't really looked at this, if you look at the map, like a night version of the map of the whole US, you will notice that the East Coast is super lit up from like the whole entire thing, like the whole half of the east side is lit up like crazy with lights, assuming there's population and buildings or whatever. Then you look at the west side, you see these little blotches. You'll see Seattle, you'll see little blotches. There's huge gaps between where things are. And so it's just a matter of having the people at the right time in the right place. And you can't deadhead people everywhere. So it's really a game of having them. If you had everybody, because then you'd have piles of people in one spot one time and nobody over here. So it's like, it's more of a communication, if you want to call it that, communication problem more than it's a shortage of drivers.
Do you want to pull up your screen that you had the GPT actual findings?
Yeah, let's see here. Sorry, I had this up there, and then oh wait, here we go. Share this tab instead.
There you go.
Boom. I'm like a pro already. Can you guys even read that or what? Because it doesn't look like I can read it on my side.
Let's go full screen.
Yeah.
And then so now I can't scroll down, Paul, so you'll have to scroll down when I go through this. But can you actually scroll up, because this is down towards the bottom?
Yep. But can you guys actually read that? Can anybody on YouTube even like see that?
Well, it's full screen
right
right now.
Scrolling.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but he needs to scroll up so that I can get to the beginning.
This is the top.
No,
right?
that he asked if I could read it, and I said no because he's scrolling.
Okay. So now that I'm not scrolling.
Okay, so the American Trucking Association, the ATA, which is the organization that represents mega carriers, they estimate there are around 60,000 unfilled positions now. Oh, there you go, Paul. Rising to about 82,000 by year-end 2024.
Yep. Yeah, so it really does come down to the game of like there's kind of it fully doesn't understand. I don't know. It's really a logistics problem more than it's a full on shortage. Now maybe there is technically a shortage, but as those of who've driven truck for years and sat places for weekends and weekends, you can tell it's a logistics issue more than it's a quote driver shortage.
No, it's not even a logistics issue. The good companies out there that are actually looking for truck drivers are not having a problem finding truck drivers. We have a waiting list for drivers over at Breakbush, and we don't have enough trucks for the drivers that want to drive for us. Now, other companies that don't pay as well, that don't have good benefits, that have a 200 to 300% turnover rate, which the actual average turnover rate for a trucking company right now is right around 200%. So for every driver they hire, 2 drivers are going out the door. So basically, you go to a trucking company, you go through this period that I like to call the honeymoon phase, where they just drive you and drive you and drive you, where you're making miles and miles and miles, making lots of money. Everybody's happy. And then all of a sudden something happens to where you've reached the end of your usefulness, and then they stop giving you the miles, and they give the miles to somebody else that came in the door because they have to keep those drivers happy because they're brand new employees. So it's not even the situation to where trucking companies don't have the ability to hire people. It's the fact that they don't have the ability to retain people, because the retention part is their biggest problem.
And that comes down to them lying about when they hire you. That's
Absolutely.
always like, oh yeah, we got 3,000 miles a week at 59 cents a mile. And then you find out that, well, the 59 cents a mile is only when you do this type of work, and you may not always get that type of work. Then you end up at a real number. And then you find out, well, it's not always 3,000 miles, because legally you can't always do 3,000 miles depending on it's a whole convoluted thing that they make it sound really simple. Oh, we just need more drivers. Well, yeah, not really. You have like 15,000 or was it 20,000 brokers out there that are all fighting for shippers, and those guys are fighting to send to drivers, and then they play a game to where they control the freight, and they control how the freight works, and on and on and on. Anyway, so to the AI part.
Well, hang on. My dad agrees with you to a certain extent. However, you have to look at population density. And the other part that you're missing out on, Paul.
Oh, I'm
really? And Gary actually says truckers
power,
dispatcher job must be chaos in so many ways. And it is, Gary. It is. A truck driver dispatcher is a very stressful job, because you've got anywhere from, depending on the size of the trucking company, anywhere from 50 to 100 drivers per person. So it's a lot of trying to basically herd cats. And you have to be able to really understand exactly what you're doing. You have to understand our service. You have to know what every driver likes to do and doesn't like to do, because now apparently in trucking, you can pretty much pick where you want to go. Not in every company, obviously, but there's certain companies where you can actually choose where you go. But here's the thing, Paul. Remember back in the day, JB Hunt used to have this big sticker on the back of their trailers that said, "We're paying you 65 cents a mile." And this was back when the average was like, I don't know, 35, 40 miles an hour. But JB Hunt was going to pay you 65 cents a mile to drive their truck. What they didn't tell you was that out of that 65 cents a mile, you're probably going to get like 2,000 miles a week, where other drivers are getting, less money, but they're getting like 2,800 miles a week, something like that. So it's all a numbers game.
Yep.
And the trucking companies, they like to play this numbers game. And with the entire thing with the truck driver shortage, if there was a truck driver shortage, we wouldn't have truck drivers sitting in truck stops without loads. They would all be running loads all the time. There's truck drivers sitting in truck stops all over the country today, and I I would love to hear from one of them. If you're watching the live stream or if you're watching the replay, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, because I know that there's drivers out there right now that are sitting somewhere over the weekend because they don't have a load. And that's why they have things like layover. Layover is a something that is paid to truck drivers when they sit without a load. Why would they have that if there's a truck driver shortage? These drivers should be driving constantly. And I think that's where Paul was going to segue into the AI.
Yeah, and the thing with the driver sitting, again, that's like just like your dad said, or Dad Johnson. We should call him Dad Johnson. That's a good one. I like that. Dad Johnson.
There you go.
Anyway, but no, talking about the population density, that's the other problem. That's why I call it more of a logistics issue, because nobody's communicating with everybody. Therefore, we don't know when something should be shipped out because it would be more efficient, blah, 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 like everybody working together. That doesn't exist. So there's drivers all over here, sitting over here. But if somebody knew that this load was going to happen on this side, there's a way of communicating that could probably fix a lot of the issues of driver sitting and the issues that they, say is so.
Well, then that turns into, like you said, a logistics issue, because you have states that produce and you have states that don't produce. They're just basically warehouse states. Like Arizona is a warehouse state.
Phoenix,
California is a producing state. They produce a lot of cheese and butter and morons. But Wisconsin is a producer state. Minnesota is a producer state. Depending on the trailers that you have, you've got flatbed, you've got curtain side, you've got Conestoga, you've got reefer, you've got dry van. Depending on what you're hauling, it all just depends on where you're putting your trucks. And in the logistics side of the trucking company, if you know that you're bringing a truck into an area that the freight is low, you should already know that you're going to be having to deadhead out of the area, and you want to try and stay out of those those warehouse states when you have a driver that's going in there to get it empty, because you know that it's going to be very difficult for you to get a load. You want to stick to the producer states if you can, because those producer states are the ones that are going to get your trucks up and rolling again.
Yep. Here, I think we need to take a break here. Hold on one second. We need a little funny break here. Give me 1 second here. Actually, here, do this, do that. Oops. Whoa. Did I do that right? Yeah,
My dad says, I think we should have a U.S. government Department of Dispatching for all trucking. Share the wealth.
Wait, where do you live again? You live in California too? Johnson, I'm confused.
I think that's where he's going.
That sounded a lot like a lefty thing right there.
Maybe.
Hold on. We need to do a little funniness. Wait, can you even hear it?
No, you have to. When you share the screen, it should have a little thing on there that says share audio as well.
What thing?
There should be something that says share audio.
Yeah. Go out. Stop sharing the screen.
Yep. Okay.
Now go back to share screen.
Oh, I see. Okay, hold on.
See where it says also share tab audio?
Yeah, hold on. I think got it. Share screen. I should already know how to do this. Also share tab audio. There. Now it actually says it.
Okay. There you go.
Still not working. Why? Oh, that's why.
There you are. Keep change.
Oh, this is
Let me have a Diablo sandwich, a Dr. Pepper. Make it fast. I'm in a goddamn hurry. You want something? We got no time for that.
Okay, never mind. That didn't work.
Well, I mean, I could hear it, but it was really, really bad audio.
Yeah, it was like they didn't do it as good as they normally do with some of these videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty funny.
But yeah, Karl Marx hates baby videos, hates talking baby videos.
Oh, really?
Absolutely hates them.
Wow.
But let's not demonetize the stream. So I appreciate that. We're already halfway there, so
Yeah, right.
we've already made fun of California several times. So
oh, dang it. Okay. All right. So let's talk about AI then, right?
Let's go into the Aurora goes driverless, because we've got a couple of drivers from Hirschbach that went to Aurora.
Dude,
Yeah, so Aurora goes driverless with partners Uber Freight and Hirschbach. The company completed 1,200 miles of driving without a driver in the cab. Paul, go down to the video and let's play a little bit of these drivers.
Hearing it?
My name is Charles Wright. I have driven over 1 million miles.
My name is Clinton Ray Lindig, and I have been driving here at Hirschbach since 2015.
I'm Christine Gordy. I've been driving, almost 25 years and close to 6 million safe miles.
Stop the tape. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Do we need to pull a calculator out?
Hang on. I need to do the math on this. 6 million safe miles, right? That's what she said?
Right?
25 years.
Is she even sure about that? Is that a pretty accurate number?
It's not accurate, because she would have to drive 240,000 miles a year.
Oh, God.
240,000 miles a year. And if she's driving for Hirschbach the entire time, she's not driving 240,000 miles a year for the last 25 years.
Dude, I want that job. 20,000.
I want that job.
Month.
Sign me up. Sign me up.
Let's go.
She's got to have like 100-mile-an-hour truck. And she's doing 100 miles an hour every single day of the week.
20,000. Wait, hold on. What is that? Okay, so that's 20,000 divided by 30. Oops. Hold on. 2000 divided by 30. That's 600. Oh, look at that number. 666666666.
Oh, God.
A lot of sixes, man.
It's a sign of the devil. That's why she's over there at Aurora.
Look at that.
There you go.
Wow, that is nuts.
It's a lot of sixes, man.
That is a lot of sixes. All right, so now that we're gonna call the BS detector on this stuff, we can move forward.
For 31 years, I've been really looking forward to getting some true truck driving.
Oh, he's only 31 years though, and no mileage count.
Right, no mileage count.
I trust that guy.
Right.
In this space that are outside this organization to give us some new feedback, and so I couldn't wait for the day.
We're not talking ourselves from a tech perspective. We're talking more from the actual industry perspective.
Okay, so
we do firmly believe
that. Go back.
Which one?
Just a little bit to that guy. Look at that guy.
Talking to the tech perspective versus
No.
So
go back. I want you to show the guy.
Which one?
The guy with the messy hair and
he had glasses
the
on.
tech guy.
Really looking forward to getting some true truck drivers in this space that are outside this organization to give us some new feedback, and so
hang on.
I couldn't wait for the day.
We're not talking.
Right, that guy. Okay.
He looks like a tech truck driver guy.
Okay, so first of all, they put this guy in that room. Number one, because he's got sleeves up his arm, the tattoo sleeves. He's got the messy hair. He's got the goatee. He's got the glasses, and he looks like he's talking to other truck drivers, like he's a truck driver himself. He's not. He's a techie that's helping build this program, but this is the stuff that Aurora's putting out there that this is all propaganda. I'm talking to truck drivers because I'm just one of you guys.
Yeah.
I'm
not talking tech.
Talking ourselves from a tech perspective. We're talking more from the actual industry perspective. We do firmly believe that our software is safe and our operations are safe. And we hope to be able to replicate million milers.
Yeah.
Like y'all, like people who make it happen every single day.
We don't know that last guy's a million miler. He didn't say that he has a million miles.
I know. You said he said y'all. He can't be.
Yeah,
he can't be a techie.
No.
No, he's from Austin.
Is he from Austin?
Dude, it's got to be dude.
I'm just throwing that out there. I mean,
Okay.
Austin's kind of like the new Silicon Valley in a lot of ways.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I don't live up there, down there.
I didn't really have any preconceptions about the autonomous truck industry.
Stop the tape.
Wow, what did he just
Hold
say?
on.
How can you not be going into this without any sort of preconceptions?
No. I was talking about him wiping the keypad down with the wipey.
Oh,
That's what I was looking at. He was wiping it. So look at that. Watch here. Look back up just a little bit. Besides the pre-canoe. See, look at that right there. See him?
Yep.
Hand? Look at that. Got to wipe those buttons off that automatic truck.
Now, if you notice, the drivers for Hirschbach are not going to be driving or sitting in the driver's seat. Somebody from Aurora is going to be sitting in the driver's seat the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Conceptions about the autonomous truck industry. People think that it's here to replace the drivers. It's really not.
And we're still going to need people to inspect the trailers. And
Stop!
Wait, their autonomous trucks are not going to replace the drivers? Huh?
Brian, help me. Brian, help me. Help me.
Actually, depending upon how this gets implemented, they may very well be correct. And I'm going to say this because I haven't watched the whole video yet. But if you have an autonomous truck, I'm going to go back to right now to GM Super Cruiser. I can't think what Ford is calling theirs. I'm not going to go down the whole Tesla autopilot thing. But these roads, it's specific multi-lane roads that are mapped that these vehicles can go down on their own. You don't touch the steering wheel at all. If I am going from, say, a lot that is next to the interstate in Milwaukee, and I'm going to Madison, I get into a parking lot that is next to the interstate, that truck can do that autonomously without a problem. How though do you go from that drop lot, then to the grocery store, to the Home Depot, to the Walmart? You need that driver there. So are you actually going to be replacing drivers? No. You're actually, what you may be doing is giving a quality of life to drivers, such as yourself, Jason, that you will, you live in Quinnesset, you will go down, there'll be a drop lot in Iron Mountain. You go down there, you pick up a trailer, you deliver it to the grocery store, you go to pick up another trailer, deliver it to Quick Trip, and then, you do your 8 hours or your 10 hours, whatever you're legally required, and you're done for the day. You're not sleeping in your truck for 2 weeks like you do now.
Okay.
So it depends upon how it is implemented.
Okay.
And I don't know if we've gotten that far.
Maybe you missed the part of the beginning of when we started talking about this. Paul, scroll up and give us the title or what was underneath the title of the article.
The company completed 1,200 miles of driving without a driver in the cab. But no, I get what you're saying there, Brian, because this is like what I think they should be really focusing on, because like you said, you're not really going to get rid of the driver. Technically you could have I don't know, you could, if you were doing local deliveries, assuming there was within the hour or 2 hours away from each location or whatever it may be, you're going to have a driver to do maybe 2 or 3 deliveries a day, depending on where it's going. Because if you go to a reefer station, You may be there for 4 or 5 hours, so you're only going to get 2 deliveries done that day, or you may only get 1 delivery done within your 8-hour period if you're a local driver, right? The best thing that they can do with these things is make it so that I jump on the freeway, I hit cruise control, and I can go from Arizona to wherever the heck I want across Highway 10 for 800 miles without stopping, and I don't have to be on duty or driving, whatever they want to do. And I can go back and take a nap because that thing's going to stay on the freeway and just cruise right across the freeway. Then I can woke up my truck and then jump in and finish or get off or go get fuel. That's the best thing to do, because now I can cover 1,000 or 1,500 miles or whatever.
So it comes down to implementation. How is it going to be implemented? I came up with an idea, you presented another one. It's how it's implemented more than anything. And it's like any technology, we can sit here and have these discussions all day long, how we think it should be implemented, but then it depends on how the industry actually goes ahead and does it. What Paul just proposed is awesome.
Let's go down. Well, what Paul proposed is a minimum wage job, by the way.
Hey,
you're going to be making minimum wage. You're not going to be making you're not going to be making truck driver salary. But scroll down, Paul, and let's proceed into the video, because this guy right here tells you what drivers are still needed for.
Inspect the truck.
Any skepticism with the
Go down a little bit, or I mean, not down, but go back a little bit.
The drivers. It's really not.
And we're still going to need people to inspect the trailers and inspect the truck.
Any skepticism with autonomous trucks?
Minimum wage
I've
jobs.
seen Terminator.
You're starting a technology of, autonomous driving. Where could that possibly not go wrong?
With the future being that there's going to be nobody in there, just blows my mind.
Ready when you are. Ready to roll. All right. Welcome to the Aurora Drive.
So now we're taking the tools for a ride. I mean, the drivers.
What even operates the turn signals?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, what else was it gonna do?
I like it. I do the exact same thing. It's pretty accurate. It can tell the size of the vehicle.
Wait, are these truck drivers or car people? The size of the vehicle, so big.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of those Chevy commercials where that guy comes out with the J.D. Power Award, and he's got these people that are supposed to be real life people.
Yeah.
And they bring out like the Chevy Malibu, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's a Chevy Malibu. I've never seen a Chevy Malibu like that. That is the most beautiful Chevy Malibu I've ever seen in my entire life." How much are these drivers being paid to do this?
I don't know.
That's what I want to know.
They're probably like, here's a day's worth of money right here.
No. To sell your soul, you need more than that.
Yeah, but you know what? Nowadays, people,
how much does a soul cost?
There are people out there, Jason, that are that ignorant that they probably drove by a Chevy Malibu 9 times and never noticed it. So when they get shown one, oh my God, you saw 4 of them on the way here. You're just too stupid to realize that what they were. Let's be honest with you. This could really be the reaction, because they just don't pay attention.
TJ, we got to hear some of you. You've driven Mario Kart. Come on, give us some feedback.
I've driven like go-karts and shit like that, but I've never driven like 18-wheeler or anything. So I just drive regular. I'm just a regular car driver. So I mean,
but TJ, even you've never driven a semi before. But if this truck is supposed to be going down the road, doing the job that a truck driver is supposed to do, wouldn't you expect that truck was going to be able to use the turn signals and do what a driver would normally do?
Yeah, I mean,
isn't that the purpose behind the autonomous truck?
Like when you're changing lanes, you're supposed to let other drivers know that you're changing a lane. Use your turn signal. You're not supposed to. You're not a motorcyclist like putting your hand out or whatever. Like making sure, like letting people know. Like you gotta literally turn your signal on and let people know that you're switching lanes or making a left turn or making a right turn. You know, just abide by the freaking rules.
I am sorry, but how much, God, is a soul worth these days?
Oh my gosh.
I'm being honest with you. I think some people are that ignorant about technology. Wow, it turns on the turn signals. Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
because they truly don't know.
So here's the big problem with.
Wait a second, Brian, you're gonna have to listen to me because that woman has 6 million miles of safe driving. Okay,
that's right.
In 25 years, she was able to do 6 million miles.
There's no way. There's no way.
That doesn't matter. There's literally people who are like, wow, the new computers don't have cup holders. They literally think that the CD tray was a cup holder for like the last 20 years. People are that dumb.
Oh my God.
Okay, so here. So
I hate
back
to say it, your industry, there's a lot of them up there.
Yes.
I'm not trying to knock you, but when I was in high school, when I was working at the truck stop, I literally would have a guy come in January here in Wisconsin when it's snowing out and goes, wow, it's cold up here, but it was 78 when I left home in Alabama earlier this morning. Well, okay, you drive truck for a living. You didn't think you would go north of like
oh my God,
Birmingham? I mean, it happens. There are people that are truly that dumb. I mean, a perfect explanation of that is look at California.
Well, California
are dumb. It's a whole state of stupid, but never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
People are that dumb.
Here's the biggest thing with the autonomous thing, right? The autonomous thing, probably the biggest problem with it is you have to have perfect artificial intelligence, perfect, because as soon as that truck gets off the freeway and now has to break the law, because I've actually worked for a couple of autonomous companies back in the other place, and you have to program those cars to follow a set of exact rules, which means the car has to stay in exact lines and exact corners and turns and all that other stuff. If you don't, they end up breaking the law. Well, you can't. You can't break the law because then the car has to think. If the car has to start thinking, then you can't, like, as soon as the truck gets off the way, you have to make turns that break the law. There's no way to drive a big rig legally in pretty much any city as soon as you got through it. There's no legal way to do it. You're going to have to break the law, and you have to teach the truck to break the law and not kill people.
Well, Paul, I don't think I can do much more of this video, but I want you to scroll down.
Yep.
Just scroll down and let's see who is supporting this garbage.
All right, where are we going? How far?
There's a no, keep going down. Keep going down. Oh, no. They took it out.
That is
there was a link showing all of the different companies that were supporting this garbage.
Oh, really?
But yeah, it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
So apparently somebody got word that.
Well, Uber Freight is one of them. So.
Well, Uber Freight is one. Hirschbach is another. Schneider National is another
Volvo
one.
Is up there.
Yep, Volvo is another one.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Schneider National is another one. Ryder is another one. I'm trying to remember all of them.
Trying to see
but
if something else in here.
There were too many people in the industry like Hirschbach and Schneider where you're going to work and they say, well, we value you as an employee. Well, we're going to value more as an employee when we're paying you minimum wage because the trucks drive themselves.
Yeah. Well, the problem is the trucks we're a long way away from that truck being able to break the law and go drive into a city without a human being. Because here the other bigger problem, if you took all the humans out, then you can make the cars work together. Problem is you have humans, the stupid people, and you have the truck drivers, and sometimes the stupid truck drivers. You put all those people together, and you now have to drive in a city. It's no.
Well, thank God for Texas, because if it wasn't for Texas, this insanity would be continuing on its merry way. And Texas lawmakers are actually considering a law that will make it so that a driver has to be in the seat at all times.
Yep.
That is not even. It shouldn't even be a discussion. Remember when that person was killed by somebody that was what was it, Uber, that had the driverless car, or was it it was one of the other ride shares?
It was Waymo, and
It was Waymo.
the person was out of the crosswalk, wearing black, crossing where they shouldn't have been. There was so many things wrong with that. Even if a person was in the vehicle, it has been determined that they would have hit this guy. So, but what Paul said something though that made a lot of sense. And this may be where things are going to go. Not in 5 years or 10, but maybe in 15 or 20.
Yeah.
What you have is that once you get on the interstate, the vehicle will take over. You know, and it's from point A. It's what it's going to be though. Yeah. It's going to be one of these things in which it's good. You're going to have a time period in which you have vehicles that can't do it and vehicles that can. Eventually, it may be one of those things. If you want to get on the interstate, you have to have the vehicle has to have the ability to drive itself, and it will self-engage when you get on the entrance ramp. The vehicles will all talk to each other, and there will be no driver. Yeah. And then when you get off on the ramp, that's when the driver will take over. You know, and if it becomes, because those vehicles will ultimately be safer. The issue you had like in that tunnel in Wyoming would not exist, because all those vehicle 1 that is braking would tell vehicles 4, 5, and 6 behind it that it's braking at the same time. So this is a reality that's going to come. It's just how is it going to be implemented?
Right.
And
I mean,
you're right.
But who are you going to get to drive for minimum wage?
You know what? I can't tell you that. And who say that they will be driving for minimum wage? You're assuming that they're driving for minimum wage.
Because I'm assuming because I'm intelligent and I can work the numbers.
Wow. Well, so here's the thing with the pay, right? The theory is no driver, no pay for the driver, right? Well, the problem is, you know what's going to happen with these tech companies? They're going to charge for their software.
Exactly.
Everybody does it. It's just like they've trapped us into, YouTube Premium, all these, like they now make you pay more for Prime to watch no commercials, Hulu, all of this, right? They started off cheap and then they go
Adobe.
Yeah. Adobe. You have to buy their software a year, monthly or yearly or whatever. Now you can't even buy the software and own it. You can't own anything. So that's where the autonomous problem kind of becomes, even with the cars, is who owns it. So when they hit me, so supposedly they're going to do it. So when the driverless car hits another car, the cops show up, take a report, and tell the person inside the car, like
it's whoever owns it.
Yeah. So,
because whoever owns it is going to buy the license to the software. Yes. So the company is going to be liable. So you would think that they would want a driver in the seat so they have somebody to point the finger at.
Yep.
That's basically what you're doing.
Right.
You're putting that driver in the driver's seat so you have somebody to say, look, it's this guy's fault.
Yeah. It's going to be they're trying to save money, right? It's all about making it cheaper to move that truck. But if you still always have to have the truck on the other side, and anytime there's a problem, you have to send a human being out there. It's like, you know what we should start? We should start a human autonomous truck towing service. That's what we need right there,
Well,
baby.
they're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to pay the drivers what they're paying them now. It's just not going to happen because they have to pay for the truck, they have to pay for the software, they have to pay for the insurance. Could you imagine the insurance on something like that? It's going to be insane, especially the first couple of years. So the driver is going to have to take a lower wage because that company is paying for the truck, paying for the insurance, paying for the software, and all of those three things. You're still paying for maintenance on the truck, you're still paying for fuel, you're still paying for tires. Driver wage is going to have to come down. That's when you do the math, that's the way it's got to go.
Yeah, they're going to say, well, you only have to drive when you get out of the city. Well, that's the most dangerous part, but sure, whatever.
Right.
That's the part where I usually kill the most people is, well, kind of, not really, but basically you end up hitting more people than you will, you know.
I just want to know if Brian disagrees with me still when I put it out there like that.
Well, yes and no. I'll disagree with the insurance thing. If we can sit down and show that these vehicles will go 300-400 million miles without an accident, and it's required, the only way to be on the interstate is to have your driver, your autonomous system working it online, then you're not liable for any. I mean, there won't be any accidents because unless someone takes control and shouldn't.
Let me show you guys.
How do we know? We don't know. We can guess, but I'll be honest with you, it may actually be cheaper because you're taking out the human factor. So that on the interstate, it could be cheaper.
Yeah. Well, so here, let me show you guys something. So Freightliner, usually International, if I'm correct, International used to be one of the cheapest trucks you can kind of get your hands on, right? This here.
Freightliner was.
Well, I don't know. I thought International, when they started making these ones, that they were like cheap.
Yeah, they're cheap.
So look, this is a cheap truck. This is a cheap
$169,900.
$169,000, $170,000 for a basic. I'm assuming this is a pretty basic truck. It's only got 450 horsepower, so it's probably a basically cheap truck.
Yeah,
it's like an XLT in a Ford model.
Yeah. So this right here, this is $169,000 now. They used to be like 120 or 90. You used to be able to pick these up for like $90,000 a few years back, or maybe longer than that, but still.
And then you got to take into consideration the price of the trailer.
Yeah.
And then you have to have cargo insurance, and cargo insurance right now is extremely expensive.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, it's going to be tricky to delete the truck driver, definitely. Or if it's even going to happen, as long as all of us are, more than likely, all of us will be dead before the trucks totally drive around the city by themselves. Unless they change the way the cities work and all the cars are talking, like you said, Brian, all the cars start talking to each other, and then the cars all back out of the way for the big rig to come through. That's the only way that's going to happen. Because
is it worth it right now to get a CDL? I mean, not that I would, but I'm just asking in general. Is it worth it, like right now, to get your CDL license to drive a 18-wheeler?
It depends.
In the short term, yes.
Oh.
Long term, no.
Probably long term, no.
It depends on your life, man. Like if you're gonna be single for your life and you just want to go freaking drive around and just be whatever, sure, be a truck driver. If you want a real life, don't be a truck driver.
Or construction companies need CDL drivers. I mean, you could do, if you want to, cement truck, dump truck, drive the flatbread that hauls the pavement. That when I got my driveway repaved,
so
the guy had to have a CDL. They had to bring over the steamroller and everything else. So there's going to be jobs out there. It's not going to be necessarily what Jason does, where he drives across country. The industry is going to change. The number of actual drivers is probably going to go down, but you have to adapt or die. That's just that's human nature.
Yeah.
I mean, look. I mean, the classic example is look at buggy whip make. If in 1890, and you made buggies and buggy whips, you thought you had it made, and then came along the horseless carriage, and suddenly your industry changed. But there are some companies, one of them being Studebaker, that said, "Hey, we are making these wagons. There's this new type of wagon that's needed that's self-powered without the horse," and they became an automotive company. Until about the 50s. They didn't do the transition well, but they did the transition better than other companies did. And it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And I agree. I agree with you, Brian, that the trucking industry is going to change, and it has to change. Every industry has to change and evolve. I understand that, and I understand that there's going to be a certain level of drivers that are going to end up losing their jobs, whether they be pushed out through early retirement, whether they are just not, able to adapt to the new technology. That's fine. But what my biggest problem is with this article from Freight Waves and what Aurora is doing with these other drivers is they're bringing it in and they're trying to paint this rosy picture that everything is going to be sunshine, lollipops, and frickin' rainbows, and it's not.
And Skittles.
Yeah, that's an obvious. It never is, but you have such a negativity out there. It's the only way to present it sometimes. You can't present it halfway.
Yeah.
That's never going to work.
Yeah, but if you don't play both sides, or if you don't say, I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say this is going to hurt, the driver part of it, but on the positive side of it, even though it's going to be hurting the driver side of it, maybe there'll be cheaper insurance rates. Maybe we'll actually be able to get safer roads, so on and so forth. Play both sides of the fence. If you're going to do that, then you're going to have some intellectual honesty, and then I'm going to listen to you more. But if you put out a fluff piece that just says everything's going to be, honky-dory fine for everybody and everything is cool, then I'm not going to listen to you because you're just putting out propaganda that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, well, I agree with that, but that's 99.9% of the media that's out there.
Well,
nothing but fluff
that.
pieces. So
Right.
you're talking. The complaint is not really about this. It's about that industry itself. I mean, there are intellectually intelligent people that can have a normal discussion, and then there's, a majority of the public, which again, I'm going to go back to being we just watched, people who can't drive. We watch them every week on Blinker Fluid of the Week of people who don't understand basic concepts. So,
right.
This
Yeah.
the fluff piece is the only thing they're going to get.
Here's the other thing to think about. 93% of the trucking industry, of the trucking companies that are out there, are 20 trucks or less. So
sure.
That's true.
The big question is, who's gonna who's really gonna be able to convert their trucks? Like, are those guys are all gonna buy these probably $250,000 trucks. They're gonna have to buy these $250,000 trucks. They're gonna have to change their whole system to it's gonna be a long
it's a long road, but let's look at something else that has occurred in your industry. The electronic logbook. It used to be everyone had a paper coloring book with their little ruler, and you sold stacks of them, whatever. And now ELDs are out there. We have it's anything that's 99 or older doesn't have to have one, but all these little companies, they're not going to be investing in. If the DOT makes a mandate and says, okay, starting in 2030, all trucks have to have the ability of autonomous highway driving, and then by 2045, those are going to be the only trucks on it. Give them 15 years to weed out everything. It's going to be the same as the conversion from leaded to unleaded gasoline. There's going to be this transition period, but there's going to be a line drawn in the sand and says, starting in 2045, all vehicles on the interstate, and not just trucks, little cars, will be the same way. Any vehicle that gets on the interstate has to have these technologies on them. Period.
Yeah, well, we need to stop saying has to have.
Well, yeah, I get it, but that's going to be what happens.
Right.
You know.
Well, I hate to cut the conversation short, but we're well over our 1 hour. But I appreciate the conversation. Brian, you know what? I love you like a brother, and I'm glad that we can disagree and still be, well, maybe you don't want to be my friend after today, but.
I didn't want to be your friend 2 years ago, and somehow I am, so, you know.
That's also true. But let's check and see our results from, yes, welcome to the train wreck. Let's check out our results for our Blinker Fluid of the Week. And this week's Blinker Fluid of the Week winner is, let's see here. Oh, wow. This is kind of shocking.
Yeah!
So this week's Blinker Fluid of the Week winner is, drum roll, please.
Number 2, right?
Number 2.
Dan.
Number 2.
Oh, there we go. There's applause.
There it is. Well.
Yeah, number 2 is our Blinker Fluid of the Week winner, so congratulations. Dan. You are today's lucky winner of the black cherry flavored Mike's Hard Lemonade Blinker Fluid of the Week. So
nice.
Congratulations on winning
it's
that.
Actually one of our people. How about that? As far as I'm concerned, it was Dan's fault.
That's pretty good stuff with some Mike's Hard Lemonade, but I haven't had that in a while.
Well, as always, I let everybody have their final say of the program, so we'll start with Brian and work our way around.
Everyone's opinion is important, but just remember that I am always right.
Very nice, Brian. TJ.
Well, thanks for having me on as always. Just be aware of your surroundings. Pay attention out there. Make sure you're abiding by the rules of the road. Use your blinkers. Let people know you're changing lanes. You know, make sure everything's good. Make sure your tires are good. Make sure your oil is changed. You know, just check all your fluids and make sure everything's good to go before you get on the road. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, TJ. And nice. Mr. PP, first producer, first on PP, and doing really good. So take it away, Paul.
What's the phrase? Everybody, like a-holes, everybody has an opinion. I think is
yes.
They say it, right? Is that the way to say it?
Opinions are like apples. About one.
There you go. You're talking about apples?
Yeah,
what you're talking about? Yeah.
Right. Okay. No, but seriously, like, yeah, just stop driving stupid around trucks, especially. So, but hey, you know, we gotta have population control somehow. So,
well, there you go. Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Quick programming note. This week I am on vacation and I'm taking a mental health week. Because I'm going to be out camping, and I've got something personal happening on Thursday that I really need to focus on. So Thursday is a big day for me. So please keep me in your prayers for Thursday. And then Sunday, there's going to be no live stream. So this week, there's going to be no video Wednesday, no live stream Sunday. It's a mental health week for me, and I'm going to be spending time with family. And just want to let you all know that we will continue with the videos the following Wednesday, and then live streams are going to start back up that Sunday after that. But this coming Wednesday, no video, and then the Sunday after this Wednesday, no live stream. So keep me in your prayers. A lot of stuff going on for me personally, so I do appreciate that. But this was a spirited debate. I love live streams like this. I do, because you get all sides of the issue. There's no fluff piece here. You got my side, you've got Paul's side, and then you got Brian's side, and you even got TJ, who doesn't even drive a truck, and he can have a side. So I I
Right.
I appreciate everybody's opinion on this panel, even Brian's when he's wrong. So, that is, that's
Which
just
never
how it
happens.
is. That never happens. But we're all friends. We can all disagree. And I think that this country needs to go back to the place where we could all disagree with one another, yet still remain friends. We don't need to have animosity towards one another just because we disagree on certain aspects of our lives or the economy or whatever it is. So just go out there, be nice to each other, have friendly disagreements where you disagree, and where you come up when you can come together on a topic, come together on that topic and make that your foundation and grow on that foundation so that we can start having cordial conversations with one another all over again. But I appreciate all of you for coming for this journey today. It's been one heck of a live stream. I thank all of you that have been here today. If you're watching the replay, definitely send a comment. If you're still here in the live stream, hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, why haven't you subscribed yet? Subscribe, leave a comment down below. And remember, every road leads to a new story. Keep writing yours. We'll see you in the next live stream. Bye, everybody.